still haven't readied, but whatever. I'll just wait a minute, and then we'll do the intro as we load. Alright, welcome everybody. We are back. This is Zenith Online Racing. I'm Arabiga. Alongside me, probably the biggest pain in the ass for me the entire season, Tier 1. Constantly nipping at each other's heels. It's DZAG00. Or Zag, as we like to call him.
Either way.
Welcome.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
We are here in Brazil. We wait for the new game, so
yeah, unfortunate timing. It'll be not quite worth it to do a short season before the new game, so
no, but we'll find stuff to do. We'll probably have some streams and stuff still going of like exhibition races and whatnot, and I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people are losing interest in the game in general as well, though. So I know I've got a few other games I've just picked up, and after this week, I don't think I'm going to be on here that much.
Yeah, no.
Alright, the first one out here, it looks like Ryan in the Ferrari. Then you got two cars.
Looks like looks like JX got out ahead of him.
Yeah, two cars snuck out right ahead. I guess that's Bark School. So Bark School is actually first on track at the moment, and then JX, you said, in the Alpha. It's a tricky pit exit here, I found.
It is.
It's like, you can't, you know, most of them you can kind of just punch it and get going, but this one you have to, like, kind of tiptoe your way around and make sure you don't mess anything up.
Yeah, Doth did the race on Monday with no line, and he said the hardest part of the track to learn with no line was actually the pit exit, so...
Huh. That's impressive. He still beat me, too.
Yeah, he would have beat me, too, I think, if he... was free to race, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got knocked off, and once you get knocked off the road, like, especially a short track like this, like, you lose like, just too much time. It's so hard to come back. Without a safety car, too, like, I never got the safety car, so just kind of sat at the back the rest of the night, and womp womp. It's never fun. Anyways, Bark School. Let's get on board with him. He's going to be the first car on a hot lap here. He's thrown it into turn 1, using that curve just a little bit. Hesitant on the exit of turn 2 and on turn 3 here. Looking solid as he rips down the straight. Scabney just made it. That's unfortunate. Just got going there, so...
A little bit too much curve there from Bark School.
Yeah, definitely unsettled the car a little bit. So, not the tidiest of laps so far, but obviously the track is still very green. Not going to have perfect grip at this point anyway, and he pulls over to let JX go.
Aborted, so yeah, for JX.
Just going on JX, see if he can do something with the rest of his lap. Got clear air there. He's on those medium tires as well, so...
Interesting to see Aero and Zenith both out on the hards. Hards are not a very competitive tire here.
Yeah, most guys, those guys I feel are probably planning to start the race on medium, so they're doing their like warm-up runs on the hards. I don't think no one would ever try to put
Makes
the like,
sense.
proper hot lap in on those hards. They're just too slow. Unless it was gonna rain. I think I've seen someone do that where it was like, oh, if I get out right now on the hards, I can get this lap on the board and then start in the top 10 on hards. Because once it rains, no one's ever gonna beat that time.
Yeah. 109.3 for Axton. That's a good lap on the mediums.
Yeah, I was gonna say JX's lap 109.4 is actually really solid on the mediums too. Ryan on these softs has actually done a 109.4, and then Mario with a 109.7, which is actually a pretty good lap from Mario as well. That's probably one of his better qualifying laps this year. Like he's actually ahead of quite a few drivers here, and he's usually been plumbing around in the back lately. So maybe that wheel feeling good for him around Brazil. It's good to see him. I'd like to see Mario get some points tonight. He's way off the road there. Obviously just trying to stay out of the way here, but almost put himself in the wall, it looked like. So Axon heading in as well. He's already done his lap. Who just put that time up there? Ryan with the 109.4. Infamous Pillars, maybe, I think it was, yeah. 109.6 for him on those mediums. So top two on mediums at the moment, with Ryan and Mario tucked in behind on those softs.
I don't think that'll last.
No, it won't, but pretty good lap time from those two to be like the top of the timing sheet on the mediums.
Yep, for sure. Have you heard from any of the drivers if there's rain expected for the race at all?
I haven't checked yet. No, I haven't looked in the chat. I don't even think we have a comment yet either, so not entirely sure. Let's try to find someone on a run right now. I'm struggling to find the cars. Arrow looks like he's on a run. He's staying out, so okay for a moment, but he's on hards. It's not going to be terribly exciting on the hards. Let's check behind with these cars heading into the pits. Then we've got two alphas, it looks like. So Infamous Pillars,
Bark
he's
School's,
heading
yeah, Bark School's on an outlap on the softs. He's just approaching the final corner now, so.
Bobby heading in the pits as well, so yeah, I don't think we're gonna get well, Black Stig. I guess that's what it's Block Stig? I have really no idea what it's supposed to be, but we'll just call him Stig 2.
Stig 2.
Stig 2. Well, just a Black Stig probably looks better. Looks like he's on his first hot lap, and I think this is his first actual race with us, so
Oh, excellent.
let's ride with him and see how he does here. Making a statement before the end of the season, might be like, hey, look who's here. Next year's going to be tough. I think he's backed out of it. Has he backed out of it? No.
He's still got the ERS up.
Yeah, sorry, I just saw a really slow corner and thought he had lifted out, but definitely not. So purple in sector 2 as well. I think he's on pace for pole position here.
Ooh,
runs really wide
real
there.
wide there.
Yeah, that
Under the
back
grass
end
a little bit.
Back end almost had a handshake with the wall there.
Yeah, that'll cost him.
Oh yeah. Yep. Puts him in 8th, so he definitely threw away what probably was, I mean, that would have been at least a second he's thrown away there, probably.
Yeah, he definitely would have been in the 9s.
There goes
Bark School's into the 108s.
So first guy in the 108s, Bark School in the McLaren.
Yep.
Let's see who we have coming around here. Is that Zenith? It is Zenith. Shortening the track as much as he can. So Zenith's
Coxey's just starting his flying lap as well.
A 109.8 on hards. That's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah. Coxey's on his flying lap. He's just coming through the first sector now.
Alrighty, let's get with Coxey, see how he does here. We've only got the one Toro. Oh, no, Wolfsburg's here today as well. Purple, it says, for Coxey. See if he can keep that up. It's Eric has retired. Has he crashed out? He has. Eric has crashed out of the turn 1 and 2 complex. So his qualifying session is over, and that is huge for Coxey. I believe he is directly competing with Eric in the final championship standings here, so big leg up to Coxey here. Eric is likely starting at the back of the grid, and Coxey can start in the top 10. He's going to probably do much better.
Yeah, Coxey's 10 points behind it's Eric's, so that's going to be really big for him. Starting at the back would be very hard to extend his
Yeah,
his
look
lead.
at this. Coxey actually got a little bit of a toe there from Jinnit. Not sure if that was intentional, but really good lap time from Coxey. Goes on to provisional pole.
1:08.8.
1:08.8. So that little extra slipstream from his fellow countryman gives him maybe just that edge enough to take the pole position.
As we expected, almost every driver out on the softs now. Very few. Jinnit and GP Colin are the only drivers who don't have the softs fitted at the moment. So
looks like Soy has. Well, Soy's on a lap here, but I don't know. He's got his engine turned down, so he's probably not pushing. Got a bunch of guys on out laps. Coxey on his in lap. Miss Pillars, Lit Romney. I think Lit Romney's about done his lap. He's down on his time right now, though. No, he looks like he's heading in. Terminal Deity looks like he's on a flyer. Let's ride with Terminal.
yeah, and JX just started as well. So
Ooh, just did not look confident turning into that right-hander there. I'm not sure what's going on with Terminal, but it looks like he's really struggling with understeer here. Like, the car is just not pointing in. Every corner he seems to be running wide and deep. He's having to lift around the bends. Like, it's just not working
looks
right
like
now.
it looks like his front wing's intact. So maybe he's had a problem entering his setup or something.
Well, he's 8/10 up, so it's a pretty decent time regardless. But it just doesn't look like it's handling right. It just seems a little off there. But Terminal goes third. That's a pretty good lap time regardless. So maybe he's just found different lines that work better, and it just seemed odd to me. It didn't look like it was the quickest way, and obviously it works. So what do I know? I'm
Might
just
be
a
running
commentator.
very low downforce as well to maximize the straights.
Could be. Yep. Here's a nice slipstream here with Bobby, and it looks like who's behind him there? Is it Infamous?
JX.
JX getting a really nice toe then. Did JX put that time up? He did, and he goes first. Executed a perfect toe there. I don't know if those two were working together maybe, but it looked intentional there because JX...
yeah, the way they timed that perfectly up to the line, I would expect there's some communication there.
Because Bobby's lap hadn't counted. Like, he had no... his lap was red, so he wasn't really pushing anyway. But it seemed like it worked out perfectly. He's almost 3/10 up on Coxey's time, so 1:08.5 for JX. That's a really good lap time. Axton edges him out by 8/100ths. Axton goes on to provisional pole in the Red Bull. That's what you want to see. Axton out front again. He's been struggling in quality the last few weeks. He's been a little bit quiet, but hopefully he can get himself on the podium for one more interview before the season is over.
Looks like Arrow's on the lap on the mediums at the moment.
It looks like he's down on his previous time. Oh, actually, it said he's up 7/10. I'm assuming that's probably more accurate than the first time I saw. So, 7/10. Put him in around 6th or so. Yeah, right into 6th.
Yep.
Arrow.
Right in the 6th.
109.
He should have plenty of time to fit the softs and run a lap if he chooses to.
I think he should, to be honest, but I don't know if he can keep into the top 10 with that time. Like, if you look behind, the guys like Stig, Pillar, Soy, like all those guys can find 4 or 5 tenths and get ahead. And the guys outside the top 10 that haven't put up a representative lap time yet either, like GP Colin, Jinnit. Even Mario had a pretty good time to start the session, so he might be able to improve. And like, I don't think that time is safe. I think Arrow's going to have to do another lap. Maybe he'll just do it on the mediums anyway, but
maybe. Mediums do last pretty well here. I could see if he wanted to try to run the reverse.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea if he did. If he runs that reverse strat. So I could see him just going in and then doing another run with like 2.5 minutes left or something and making sure he gets one in. Hard to say, really. Definitely trying to save time, it looks like, though. So Arrow into the pits. not many cars out on track at the moment. Kind of dead out there. A couple guys on outlaps,
Bob,
but
yeah, Bobby just started an outlap, and
I don't think we've got any flyers. Is Dub 49ers on one? It looks like he is, yeah.
Terminal's just starting a flying lap now. He's just crossing the line. Ooh, very close to invalidating Terminal was.
Dub 49ers just ran off the road a little bit there, and I thought he was going to get his lap discounted, but it's stuck. He's heading into the pits, actually, so I guess he wasn't pushing. Well, that sucks. Sorry, who was the Terminal you said is on a run? Oh,
he's looking to struggle a little bit.
It says he's invalidated on the map. Maybe he's backed out of it. I don't know. It could be inaccurate, though. I've seen it wrong. Yeah, he's heading in the pits, so he probably did invalidate.
He's still got plenty of time to get a fresh set of softs and go out for another run.
Looks like there is a Renault going quick out there. I'm assuming that's Coxey. He's on a lap. Let's get with Coxey and see what he's up to. Purple in Sector 2. 3/10 up. That would put him on to provisional pole. Coxey on pace here. As long as he has a nice run down this straight, shortens the track a little bit, he'll be set here.
Did a really good job managing his battery that lap.
Oh, he's just barely missed out. He's just 200ths off. Wow, that is a tight top 3 there, though, all within 1/10.
Oh, yeah. I imagine there'll be a few other people trying to set those mid to low 108 times as well.
Yeah, Infamous Pillars looks like he's on a run but invalidated, so let's jump to someone else. We got Black Stig here. Let's see what he can do. His time, it looks like he's a little off the pace at the moment. He improves a 10th and a half, but still sitting 10th at the moment, so that's good news though. If he's slotting into like the midfield pace, that's another good addition to the tier.
Just heads up that Aerostrike has fitted the softs, so he's going out for his last lap. So
yeah,
he's one to watch in these final rental cars.
Let's see if we can get to that Alpha. Is it JXW? Looks like he's pushing right now. Oh, he's heading into the pits. I think he's done. I do not think JXW has time to get back out. But his pit crew is far too slow to get around here. So JX will be done. I think Aerostrike is the first guy on a outlap in the pack there. And there's a couple guys behind, right? Ryan's behind.
GP's behind. So's Infamous, I think. Or no, GP.
Yeah, GP, Ryan. They're behind Aero. So let's get with Aero. He's your championship title holder for the Season 3 Tier 2 League. Let's ride with Aero. Let's, well, I guess I can't really take the interface off now because we kind of need to see the times, but yeah, we'll give him a glory run later in the race. Aero with that DRS wide open is bombing down the straight, hits that 50-yard marker and swings it in, sends it up the hill. He's
already a 10th and a half up through Sector 1. So
say it's looking like a tidy run so far. He needs a lot more time though. He's gonna have to find it here in Sector 2. Probably will with the extra traction. Oh, yeah. Given that it's a medium run that he's trying to beat, so.
The traction for the run up the hill is going to be massive compared to the mediums.
Yeah, he'll get a nice. I think he's on pace here for a good run. He's up 4/10, and that is going to. Yeah, ooh, it's going to put him into the top 3 if he can find another 10th or 2. He might even go for pole here if he gets a really good haul up his back straight. He's coming to the start-finish line now. Let's see what he can do. He's close. And he's just off 2/10.
Mm.
So not enough for Arrow. It's not going to be enough. Where are we going next? Ryan is next. He's already finished his lap, actually. GP Colin has put a good time on the board up in 4th, so we've missed those. These guys come around very quick.
Park School's got a slipstream up the back straight a little bit.
It's Park School.
But it looks like he's on an
he's
in-lap.
He's on a slow lap, yeah. Who's this terminal deity? Looks like we have an Alpha coming. Is it Infamous Pillars? It is. Alpha Romeo trying to get themselves a little further up the field here, and it improves but doesn't gain any places, it says, so that's interesting.
He was already on pole.
There's one car left coming around. Is that Bobby? It is Bobby. Let's see what Bobby can do here. He's up 9/10, it says. Big improvement for Bobby. He jumps into the top 10, so that's good news for Bobby. Be happy with that.
Looks like he's finishing up a lap as well.
Is Ryan on a run? Yeah, he is. He must have got the timing perfect. Says he's up 3/10. Could go top 10 here. It was 11th.
Looks like he got a
4-man's pole, so that's a good place to start.
That will be a good spot for him. Be able to start either on fresh softs if he's got a set, or on the mediums.
Mm-hmm. Good spot to start from for sure. All right. So the grid is set for the season finale, Brazil here. Axon is on pole. Coxie with a surprising 2nd place. That's a really good run from him. JXW in 3rd. Really nice lap from him as well. GP takes 4th. Arrow takes 5th. Soy Loco 6th. The Bark School 7th. Jinit's 8th. Terminal is 9th. Bobby's 10th. Ryan is 11th. Mario's 12th. Infamous Pillars 13th. Black Stig 14th. Lit Romney 15th. Wolfsburg 16th. Dove 49er 17th. And it's Eric has no time. He will start last. Obviously, he crashed out near the beginning of the session. So
it's worth noting the top 13 drivers, less than a second between them.
That is
very,
good.
very tight field.
That is good news. A second is a lot of time around a short lap like this, and if you're within a second, you get DRS. Like the DRS train is real here.
So looking at the standings, that it looks like the battle for 5th is going to be pretty tightly contested, with Coxie and it's Eric starting last.
That's the battle for 5th, you said?
Yeah, it's Eric's in 5th currently on 110 points, and Coxie's in 6th with 100 points. So with it's Eric starting back of the grid, it's going to be interesting to see if Coxie can squeeze top 4 finish. I think he would need.
Well, he's starting 2nd, so if he can stay on the podium and Eric only gets a handful of points, he could very well beat him.
Mm-hmm.
Needs 10, so if he finishes 3rd, finishes with 15 points, and Eric gets 4, then he's got him. And that's quite possible, really. 3rd for Coxie and like 8th for Eric, based on where he is. I could see him. Just really depends on how many DNFs we have, but Eric is pretty quick, especially race pace wise, so I don't think that's really a shoe-in or anything. Coxie really just can't make any mistakes. He has to finish on the podium, and that's pretty much the bottom line.
Fastest lap could be a difference maker for them as well.
That's true, actually. And both probably capable of actually getting it, because Coxie was damn close to getting the pole position time. So
yeah.
All right, formation lap is getting ready here.
Other notable battles standings wise, 4 points separate Spears and Lit Romney.
Oh, that's pretty close too. Spears not here though, so won't be able to defend that.
Well, if Lit Romney can get 4 points or 5, then he'll move up a spot.
He could. He's been on pretty good form for the latter half of the season. Obviously starting 15th right now, probably not the greatest spot, but also there is a lot of reserves in the field, and there's going to be a lot of guys getting points that don't necessarily look like they're going to at this point. So
yeah. And only 2 points between Terminal Deity and Wolfsburg for 10th place.
Someone has taken out an advertising board on the side already.
Huge gap between GP Colin and JX.
Scavney, plumb last. Joined late, couldn't get an actual lap out in quali. So Gonna suck for him, but it's Eric in the same boat because he crashed. He's got the hards on, so he's looking to really run long here. He's not planning to stop for quite some time. He's gonna have to keep his nose clean. Let's bring all that information up so that we know where everybody is. Janet on the mediums in 8th, Ryan in 10th, or sorry, 11th on the hards, and Mario in 12th on the mediums. Looking like they could have some pretty nice races, those two.
Able to stay in DRS, so the drivers in front of them on the softs. That would be huge. That would be close.
Yeah, definitely. Like if they can kind of stick in that, hang around that top 10 when they go to pit, like, and if they don't really lose any ground to them on those better tires, on the harder tires, be sitting in a nice spot. So, see what happens. The AI is starting to take over up front. What an awful shot! Why is the camera over here? Terrible. Let's try Coxey's broadcast. Nope, same thing. There we go. JX has a decent one. And the entire grid is shaking in unison. Alright, we got the lights on. It's the season finale in Brazil. Let's get it underway. And they're off. Black Stig has a jump start and has a drive-through penalty for it, so he had got going a little early here. Got a little bit of lag here in the first corner. 3 wide into turn 1. And JX has come out with the lead, and Coxey has maintained second. Axon has slipped to third. Axon right on the back of Coxey, and here comes GP Colin now looking for a little bit of action. He might be able to get into third here, GP. Whoa, huge crash behind. We have a monster crash. Ryan is out. It looks like he got spun and then T-boned. Oof, I can't believe that's just a VSC. I mean, that's a full safety car if I've ever seen one.
Oh, yeah.
That was a monster crash. So VSC for the time being, that'll neutralize things for just a brief moment.
Great start from Lit Romney. He gained 4 positions.
Yeah, that's
VSC came out.
Really good. And Arrows actually dropped to 8th. So these guys out front now, JX, GP, and Coxey, they're sitting in a pretty spot here, and they can definitely build up a gap now. The VSC will end shortly, and they've already got a little bit of a cushion behind there. Axton and Soy can slow up the rest of the guys. And here we go. Coxey looking down the inside. Oh, and he gets spun out.
Oh, no.
Oh, he sent it down the inside in a spot that most people wouldn't try and overtake, but he was there, and it looked like GP maybe squeezed him out, and then Coxey just has to wait for the entire field to come through.
Because it's lap 1, everybody's bunched up. He's lost a ton of time.
Yeah, he just couldn't get back on. Oh, there's contact again. The 2 Red Bulls touch. Soy Loco has gone into the back of Axton and nearly sent him around in the exit of turn 1.
Looks like both have avoided damage, thankfully.
All kinds of penalties going on. With people pitting and speeding in the pit lane and hitting each other still. And just not entirely sure what is going on out there. It's been a really odd first lap. But here we are on lap 2. We've got JXW leading this race. GP Colin, I don't know. You know, just from the angle I had, it looked like GP had squeezed Coxey. I don't think that was Coxey's fault. I think he had a right to be there. I'm not sure who didn't leave enough space, really. But, you know, for JX at this point, there's a very good chance GP Colin could get a penalty here. So JXW doesn't need to do a whole bunch here. He doesn't need to be substantially faster. Even if GP gets ahead, he just kind of needs to stay with GP. So...
And he's already got that gap over a second, so it'll be... without DRS here, it can be pretty challenging to stay with the car ahead. That DRS makes a big difference, so...
Alright, so we got a little bit of spacing happening. We got a lot of guys really close here fighting for 9th. We got a nice little scrap 3-way battle here. Bobby, Lit Romney, and Infamous Pillars all duking that out. Goes down the inside.
Ooh.
And it looks like they touch, but Bobby is yielded to. Lit Romney let him take the place back, and I think they're fair to race again there.
Hope that didn't give you any flashbacks to Monday.
Oh, it did.
Coxey's already gained a few positions back on those guys who pitted, so he's up into 15th.
Well, Bark School is actually now hounding Soy Loco, so Soy Loco going to be playing a little bit of a blocker role here for his partner Axton. Hopefully Soy Loco can hold up Bark School a little bit, because Bark School pressuring Axton is not something he needs at the moment.
Yellow flag in Sector 2.
It looks like one of the Renaults, maybe. I think it was Coxie, maybe, again.
I think so.
So Bark School not close enough to make a move there. We got a move of Bobby and Romney again side by side. They're wheel to wheel through the first two turns, and Bobby down the outside now into turn 3. Is he going to get a good enough run here? Lit Romney has the DRS, so Bobby really has to fight
DRS,
this. He's not going to get it. Bobby, oh, he's peeked down the inside late, and Lit just closed the door. Yeah, Lit Romney closed that door up.
Oh, he's in the wall!
Oh my lord!
Lit Romney ran into the wall. Looks like he totally just lost it.
That was a huge crash too. He just came, yeah, like you see the skid mark heading right to the barrier, and then he bounced across the track, nearly took someone out with him.
Yeah,
that was crazy. We've had some pretty wild crashes here in the finale so far. Only 2 cars out, but both of those cars pretty traumatic crash.
Another VSC, interesting. Thought that might be a full course caution.
Surprising. Either way, I wonder if some of these guys up front thinking maybe heading to the pits. Looks like someone has Wolfsburg has gone in. He's probably around the back of the field at the moment, though. So JXW actually is making up time on GP, it looks like. So JX is actually sitting in a really solid spot here. He could very well win this Grand Prix if he plays his cards right.
Looks like Wolfsburg had damage, so he fit a new front wing, and he's on hard, so he'll be going to the end of the race.
Should be going green any moment. I imagine this will last much longer. Comes Bark School pressuring Soy Loco, but just obviously can't make any moves yet. Terminal Dady has joined the party. Infamous and Bobby side by side. Oh, there's contact there. I am not sure what happened there. Did Bobby sweep the outside of Infamous and collect his front wing there? It looked like he did.
Mario and Eric are side by side. Oh, Eric's out.
Another crash into the wall. There's got to be a
same
safety
exact
car
spot.
Now. Surely we get a safety car this time, right?
I would imagine.
I'm trying to get on board with Dove so I can see it, but I think the car's gonna be gone by then. I missed it again.
Yeah, it was the same exact spot coming out of that. After that first DRS zone, there's the 2 left-handers, and straightening up after that second left-hander, both of them.
I think a lot of. I don't know if the guys are just running wide and then catching the curb on the exit. I'm not entirely sure, but it was just a yellow. They cleared that pretty fast, so we're back to racing. Yeah. Axton is now pressured GP Colin, which is excellent news for JXW. If GP Colin can put up a really good fight here, JXW can sit and manage his battery out front. This is great news for JXW.
Axton's going for it. Just sticks his nose in, but not quite there.
Not good enough, and that's given JX a bit of a boost up the field now. Just taking a look behind here, we got Bark School Terminal pressuring Soy still. Good little scrap there as well, but we're trying to keep our eye on the battle for second. Just get back to that.
It's worth noting, Jinnit, who started 8th on the mediums, is still in 8th, so he's been able, thanks to these VSCs and everything, to stick with Arrow and those other drivers ahead of him who are on the sauce.
Great news for his race. I mean, Scabney's sitting in a pretty good spot too. GP and Axton. Axton's starting to lose a little bit of ground actually, so let's get back to this little scrap. It's about to become a 5-way battle. It looks like all these cars behind are starting to close now too. The DRS train just not working. None of the drivers seem to be able to separate. So Bark School with a run on Soy here. Can he get something done? He's not close enough. Here comes Terminal, but he can't close enough either.
No, it's just everybody's got DRS. It's really hard to pass.
Axton back within the DRS range of GP again. GP takes a little bit of time out of JX, but nothing too concerning.
Fuzz in the chat said Coxie overtake coming, so...
Yeah, we probably missed it. It looks like he got by Scabney.
Oh. Yeah, it looks like it.
I mean, we got a pretty handy scrap going on here. It's kind of hard to look away from. 4 cars now, all within striking distance. None able to really separate. I gotta say, Soy Loco doing a good job keeping these guys behind without the DRS, managing to hold up this group. Seems to just get really good exits down the DRS runs, and these guys just can't close fast enough. Axton very close to GP now, taking a haul up the hill. There is a way to make overtakes up here. It's just really tricky. You almost have to kind of like catch your guy on a bad line. But Axton, not close enough yet. So let's get back. It looks like Infamous Pillars has made a move around the outside of Bobby, and he's closed the door there. Got it done. So Infamous Pillars makes an overtake. Let's get back to this little scrap. Terminal 80, looking at the back of Bark School. Not close enough. Let's get to Axton. They're about to hit the DRS straight. Can he close? Oh, he's got a really good run on GP here. I think GP is in trouble. GP parks it on the inside. Is he going to be able to defend this? I don't think he will. Axton goes through. He's technically ahead. Around the outside, GP fights it, but he can't get it done. So Axton overtakes.
That was a really good move.
It was a great move, and GP now is going to have to fight this back. He's got the DRS into this spot. Can he think about sending it? No, he can't.
Nope, not close enough.
I think GP was caught napping there. I don't think he thought Axton was going to go for it on that run. So JXW now has to worry about Axton behind, but he knows GP is still right on his tail, so might be able to still just manage that gap. He's got to be sweating up there, though. He's just had a 1.5 second, 2 second gap for the entire race so far since lap 1. He's led every lap so far. It was a really great start and put himself in a good spot through turn 1 and 2 and managed to end up in the lead. So GP looks like he is just starting to lose ground on Axton here. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep up at this point. GP going to have the DRS here because he got a pretty nice haul up the hill. It looks like he is slightly closing. Yeah, he's actually closing quite quickly here, so he might have a good run down the next DRS straight. Axton has to defend.
Maybe wait another lap.
GP lunging late on the brakes there, trying to get a little bit of a advantage on Axton. Here comes GP. Is he going to try and send it here? He's closing, but not fast enough. They're approaching lap traffic ahead, it looks like.
Bobby is very close to Infamous. He's got DRS here along the back. Straight. And he's
here
looking
comes
for
Bobby.
A move around the outside.
Oh, they're going side by side through the turn. And Bobby's way off the road there, trying to avoid contact. Infamous, without that wing, is struggling to battle here, but doing a good job keeping it clean, and he really just slams the door in Bobby's face there. Says, no, sir. I do not want to purchase any Bibles. GP Colin.
So you think hit a good run up the hill?
Yeah, let's see if he can do something here. This is bad news for JXW because Axton is starting to reel him in. He needs GP and Axton to be mixing it up here. Axton doing everything he can to break that toe.
It's like GP's pretty content to just stick in that DRS and let Axton pull him forward in this race.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's feeling the pressure at the moment. Bark School still stuck behind Soy Loco. Has not found a way through yet. He's sending it down the inside here. Soy has completely covered that line, though. Yeah, Soy covered
Soy
it
went
off.
way out wide.
Big wobble from Soy there. He's starting to struggle with those tires a little bit.
Ooh, Bark School thought about sending it up in that fast right-hander up the hill. Terminal
80 is taking
Arrow.
a peek.
Yep.
He's just really reeled him in,
right up
too.
on their tail.
Alright, Bark School, Soy. Soy's going to have DRS here because of that lapped car, so this is not going to be Bark School's chance. Oh, GP and JX's pit. So GP has moved into second, Axon into first. JX maybe deciding he wants to get that undercut covered off, does not want to be surprised by the guys behind. And
Looks
they
like
were
he
closing.
might be going for a two-stop. He's put on softs. That's surprising.
It looked like mediums to me.
Oh,
he is.
my screen shows softs.
You're right. Yeah, no, he's actually fitted softs. It looked like medium, like the color when I saw them.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Committing to the two-stop. How long is he got to go?
He's counting on...
safety car, maybe?
One of those safety cars, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if he goes another 11, then he goes about 14 on the mediums. I guess it could work, but I think he could have won this race if he tried to one-stop.
Yeah, I was going to say, seeing him pit on lap 12, I was expecting maybe you could have the mediums go 24 laps. It would be a big ask. It would not be easy, but possible. But yeah, surprising to see the two-stop. Didn't think that was the fastest strategy here.
It's not. It's not a great strategy, I don't think. But
GP's closing. See if he goes for it.
JX is in a bit of clear air. He's got one car, Bobby Tava, up the road, who's likely going to pit soon anyway. And then ahead of him, he's got about 7 seconds of clear air. So it could work out. If he can close that 7 seconds up, the guys in front of him have to pit, and you know.
Well, notably, the person he would be 7 seconds behind is Zenith, who's on mediums, so he might be running for a while into this race.
Yeah.
That could be an issue when he catches up with Zenith.
Yeah, that's true. I just think, I don't know, I feel like he maybe flubbed an opportunity at a podium there by committing to a two-stop early. You know, you could have put the mediums on, like you could just put the mediums on and see how they go. And if you like, you know, what, ain't gonna last. I have to two-stop anyway. Why not run them now, right? But maybe he was thinking, I'm ahead of the pack. If I get on these softs, I can make up more time at this time because he is closing fast. He's taking like a second and a half out of Bobby already. On board with GP right now.
It's interesting too because if he would have put on the mediums, then if there would have been a safety car, you know, somewhere around lap 20 to 25, he might have been able to pit for the softs and taken advantage of them at the end of the race when the field was bunched up. But now if that happens, he'll be running the mediums.
Soy has pit, so he's done with those softs.
Looks like he's fitting the
this is mediums. Yeah. Oh, GP nearly into the back accident there.
Terminal Deity's very close here to Bark School.
Bar School on that inside line up the hill now. Can he keep it covered? Terminal Deity's going to look for a little switchback here. Just can't quite get through. So Arrow's actually made it by all these guys. So Arrow looking good now. He's got a bit of space ahead of him. JXW has made it by Bobby. That was a pretty quick overtake, and he's just taking chunks of time out of Zenith right now. This could work, I think.
It'll be close. It'll be close to see.
It could work, honestly, because he's getting what he needs. He needs to be making up time right now, and he is. And then everyone he's catching has to pit before he's going to catch them. So I mean, they can one stop, of course, but he's going to be ahead of them, running in clear air. Like I think he might be able to make up the gap he needs. To be honest, he could pull it off.
It would be a great result for him if. Really show his pace if he can make the two-stop work for a top three finish or even a race win.
Especially in the season finale, that would be quite an achievement.
It's like Zenith got by Terminal Deity, so that's a big move for him.
GP still tagging along behind Axon here. Who is going to make the first move?
Looking down the field, Coxey came in and fitted the mediums, so he might be looking to stretch those to the end of the race. Infamous is on the hard, so he's definitely going to be running those to the end.
So GP's pit, so has Axton. Both guys in.
Terminal's
Both to
coming in pits
mediums.
as well.
So they went to the mediums. JXW gets by them. This is exactly what he needed. And the only guy up the road there is Jinnit, who's on terribly old mediums, so he's going to have to pit.
15 lap old mediums. Ooh.
Yeah, so he's going to be quite slow here. JXW may have actually pulled this off, because look how far ahead he is.
Oh yeah, you look at the track map.
He's got almost 10 seconds already here. I don't know how long a pit stop is, but he's more than likely going to make up that gap.
Yeah, it's a relatively short pit lane. And
especially if there's a safety car, he's laughing.
Oh yeah.
I think you could win this race.
Yeah, he's definitely got by that period, because if the safety car would have come out when he was behind all that traffic, they would have left him very vulnerable. But now that he's out ahead of it,
yep.
Safety car to come out, he can pit comfortably and maintain his track position.
Yep. Well, these guys do not have to pit again. We know that, so they can't close terribly quick. But Bobby's kind of in the way at the moment. I'm assuming Bobby's going in this lap, though.
I would imagine those softs really won't last. 15, 16 laps is about the maximum they're able to go.
So now the chase is on. Axton and GP are looking to hunt down JXW, so it's 6.2 seconds to Axton. JXW needs to make sure that gap is growing. If it is not growing, his strategy will not work. It looks like it is growing consistently at this moment.
Interesting thing will be to see what happens if he catches Jinnit.
Well, Jinnit never easy to overtake, but I think Jinnit also probably knows he's not going to waste his time fighting a guy on softs when he's on old mediums either. So imagine he wouldn't hold JX up too much, but again, this is your direct competition for a victory here as well. So you know, how much time do you want to squander?
Knowing that each of them, knowing that each of them have to make another pit stop. It's like Terminal's following very closely behind Scavney. He's less than half a second.
They have...
He's on...
Arrow there has got about 6 seconds behind GP Colin. Like or even more actually. It's more like 8 seconds. He's quite a ways back there. So Arrow's really the pressure from behind for that front group isn't really coming for quite some time, and Arrow needs to get by Soy Loco to get there too. So
Terminal is about to make a move into turn 1. Looks like he's trying to go around the outside.
He sends it around the outside. Looks like Scavney trying to keep that line tight, and Terminal is just sliced right through there. That was a great overtake.
Yeah, Scavney, I believe, started on those mediums, so they're
here comes Scavney again, though.
Past their prime.
Scavney with a good lunge with the DRS. He's going to be able to take that place back. Great shot there. Oh, now Terminal sneaks up the inside with the more grip. Not a great place to go side by side, but I think Terminal... Oh, they're still wheel to wheel here. Can Terminal get it done?
He's trying to hold it around the outside.
He's going around the outside still, and he gets it done. Great driving there to finally get that little extra bit he needed and take the place.
He's been stuck in traffic all race, so that clear air...
Yeah.
It's going to feel very nice for him, I'm sure.
So GP closing to Axton, sort of floating in the same range, actually. Axton really not losing ground to JXW. He's sort of floating in that same window. So, within the next few laps, JX tires, they're going to start to fall off a little bit, and Axton's more than likely going to start reeling him in.
Yep, he's been on him for 7 laps, so... Usually around lap 10 is when they start to noticeably fall off. But he's pulling in the gap to Jinnit pretty quickly.
Yeah, and he'll get that DRS that'll help him a little bit, but Axton's not really pushing right now either. So I think JX is in trouble. So again, much fresher tires, and you'll only be a little bit behind. The problem is, like, just look at the timing. Like, JX pits now, and say it's 20-second pit stop.
He's probably coming out.
He's coming out around Bark School. Yeah, like, I just can't see him doing damage from there. It's too many cars to overtake.
I mean, he'll be on fresher mediums, but it's it's a big ask to get back into the top 3 from there.
I would agree. Jack's really
unless of course there's a safety car, which would
Yeah.
which would almost gift him the lead because he and Jinnit would be basically fighting to the end.
Yep. Jeanette will have the better tire, though.
Yes, that's true.
So, JX within DRS now. We've got Mario closing on Scavney. Let's keep an eye on that little battle. Mario is sneaking into the points here, having a pretty decent afternoon for himself. See if
both
he can make
Scavney and Mario still need to pit, so that'll be interesting to see their battle continue after that pit stops.
If this pillar is closing on Coxie, is he going to send it? No, he thinks better of it. So those two
T-Money
close.
saying in the chat that JX should come in now. I tend to agree with that.
Yeah, because he's got the gap to 7 now. This is the biggest he's had it, and those tires are not going to last much longer.
Staying out for one more lap. I think his thinkings might be that
he's
DRS
still growing
might help
it.
him.
Yeah, I mean, that DRS is helping him grow the gap to Axton right now, right? Look at Jinnit. He's completely all over the place here. Like, JX is more than likely going to have the grip to send it here. I think he's got Jinnit dead to rights. There's no way Jinnit's going to have this covered. Not a chance. He didn't even open his DRS, it doesn't look like. Or maybe it's broken. Something, but JX is clean through, and, you know, he might be okay here. He is still growing that gap a little bit. He lost a few tenths there just because he made that move, but, you know, if he's continuing to grow the gap to Axton, then there's really no reason to dive in. The fresher your tires are at the end, the better, right?
Yeah, the only thing is the mediums here are a fairly competitive tire, and you want to get the most out of that tire life.
I would say, like, you know, the 15 lap window is probably the prime. So he's within that window now. If he was to stay out a little bit longer, he would just extend the life and be able to push them that little bit extra. But Jinnit in, so that is just now JX will know his gap to the car behind is Axton, and he'll be able to make his choices from here quite nicely because he doesn't have the car behind being Jinnit would have obviously thrown him off. But again, Jinnit probably on track going to win this race, I think. Like, he's got some work to do. The other thing, too, is Jinnit's going to be causing a bit of a ruckus there. He's going to be chasing those guys on the mediums and slowing them down. So even if JX comes up behind them, he can still kind of follow Jinnit through the pack there. But
so Jinnit rejoining will be just behind Bark School, so he'll have to get that move done before he can go and chase the lead.
You know what? JX has the window. He'll come out behind Jinnit ahead of Terminal, so that's his best window. He's got a 7-second lead to Axton. It's not going to get much bigger. It's not going to get much better than that at this point. Like I can't see it being 8 seconds when he pits. It's just going to start to shrink.
Yeah.
So I think JX has to
and
go
the later the race goes, the more spread out the field's going to get, the less likely the safety car is going to be. So
yeah,
I think it's now or never for JX.
Yeah, he's starting to lose time. He needs to go in. Is he in? He is.
And he is.
So JXW has pit. We're going to ride with Jinnit here, who's applying some pressure to Bark School because I'm expecting JX to come out around this part of the pack. He very well could have cleared them, though. I think he's been released. No, he's at the end of the pit lane there. He's been released. He's probably just crossing the line now.
Oh, yeah. GP Colin picks up a time penalty.
That is big for JX. Very big for JX. So JXW making his way down the pit road right now, and here comes Jinnit. Jinnit on these softs here has already lost a bit of time trying to get by some traffic, and they're side by side here.
Oh, they come out side by side.
Jinnit is going to get this place, which is great news for Jinnit. He does not need another car to get by, but excellent news for JXW. He has now his lead horse to follow through the pack.
Exactly. He'll be able to follow him through, hopefully.
You know, almost everybody is within reach, but I'd say that Axton's got that, with that 9-second gap ahead of Arrow there, like, that's a little bit much. We'll see. Jinnit might get there. This has been a pretty interesting race, though.
Oh, yeah. Just checking some of the penalties here. It looks like GP picked up that one, but I don't see any penalties for anybody else in the top three there. I don't see JX. He's got a few warnings, but I don't see any time penalties for JX or for Axton or Arrow or anybody else who's in the top 5. So
Soy Loco is really holding this group up. They really need to find a way through. Oh, Jinnit with a sneaky move here up the hill. I think he's going to get this done. They're side by side. Jinnit and Arrow wheel to wheel. Arrow touches the grass a little bit. Jinnit swings back in to try and squeeze it.
wow.
Still wheel to wheel here, and
He's
it looks
got
like
the grip on the inside. I would imagine.
yeah, Jinnit gets it done. What
just barely.
great racing from those two, and Jinnit gets the move done. That was excellent stuff. And next on the list is Soy Loco. JXW being left behind there to fend for himself. JXW with the much fresher mediums coming up the back of Arrow. See if they can do anything. I think Jinnit is going to get this move done. We'll try to keep an eye on the other two in the background. Here comes Jinnit with an awful camera angle here from the race director. Thank you kindly for that. There we can see all 4 cars heading in.
He's got that comfortably done.
Arrow has covered it off, so JXW is going to have to wait a little bit longer to get the move done. Can he try it down the DRS straight here? Soy Loco is actually in a very compromised spot here. He could be overtaken by both cars. Soy Loco
wheel to wheel!
Oh, he's squeezing Arrow at the edge of the circuit there. Oh, late move from JX. Is he going to get it to stick? Oh, no, he's touched the curb. Oh,
he's lost his wing.
Oh, no.
Oh, contact.
I can't believe he didn't lose his wheel there, though. He went wheel first into that barrier.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, he was looking for... Oh, and he smacked the wall again there. Yeah. He was looking for a sneaky pass on Arrow, feeling that pressure, and that curb caught him out. Likely what we saw earlier in the race with the guys crashing out there, that's probably exactly what they did. Because the car just got yanked right into the wall there. It was very off. JXW still losing ground here. He's gone off the road again. His teammate Infamous has gone by. Actually, Infamous,
so that
I guess,
strategy looks like it...
reserve, but Arrow Strike,
strategy just puts him into traffic at a
yeah, I mean, it's just
tense time of the race, and forced himself to have to make some overtakes and to stick with people.
Agreed.
And it's a challenge.
That's the thing. Like, you always want to take the route that leaves you in the front of the field. You know, even if your tires you don't think are going to last, you're better off being in second with tires that are going to die than being in seventh and trying to fight through a field in a track like this. Like, I mean, your longest DRS straights are barely long enough.
It's a little bit safer to be ahead and falling back down through the pack.
Safety car. Wow. That is huge. Jinnit is sitting in a pretty spot right now. He's going to get that gap closed right up. I think Jinnit's going to win this Grand Prix here. JXW is going to get a little bit of a bailout plan here. He's back onto the softs, and he's actually already coming out of the pits, and the safety car has been initialized. So JXW with the softs in 12th.
The points.
Yeah, I think he's going to get himself some points tonight anyway. So he'll be happy to reconcile that, because he really threw away a great result.
Especially with... time penalties.
Oh yeah, GP's in big trouble now. GP's going to lose a lot of ground because we're near the end of the race here. I don't think he's going to make up his time penalty.
Looks like Bobby,
GP's in.
Soy.
Everyone's gone in. Aerostrike is the only one who's stayed out. Is Aerostrike going to get the place, though? Aerostrike's passed everyone. He's taking the lead of the Grand Prix.
Jinnit came in. That's surprising.
You know what, though? I think Jinnit's thinking, I don't want to be on older softs when everybody's on fresh ones.
Yeah, for him.
Bark School pit as well, so pretty much everyone's pit. Arrow's the only one that didn't come in.
Arrow's going to be in.
Arrow going to win another Grand Prix here?
I don't know. That's...
The softs are going to be fast. He's in trouble.
His mediums are 11 laps old as well.
There's a collision in the pit lane here. Bark School has hit the exit of the pit wall.
He got disqualified.
He was disqualified for... Oh, man, he got disqualified for blocking the pit lane?
Blocking the pit exit, yeah. I wonder if anybody
maybe got
caught up in that.
Someone was leaving the pits as well.
Looking down through the field, I don't see anybody else who looks like they have damage. But
Coxie into 8th now. He's kind of been brought back to life. JXW is in the points already in 10th. So everybody in the field on fresh softs, except for Dub 49ers on 3-lap old softs. Scabney stayed out on 5-lap old softs. Stig is on 8-lap old mediums, and then of course Aerostrike in the lead on the 11-lap old mediums. We will see who made the great choice here. The thing I have to give to Aero is that he's in front. He has the defensive lines. He's gonna have he's still got lots of life in these tires. They're not gonna die.
No, 11 laps.
The other thing,
mediums still have quite a lot in them.
yeah, and the guys behind him are all going to be fighting with each other. They're all on fresh softs. They're probably just going to lose time, and he's going to get to decide when to start the race again. He'll get a nice launch, and he'll have probably almost a second lead right over them off the bat. So,
yeah, and with the DRS not opening for a few laps, that'll play into his favor quite a bit. I think the restart and the first lap are going to be interesting. If the drivers behind kind of all stay single file, I think Aero's pretty vulnerable. But if they start to battle, and Aero gets a good launch, then he might just be able to hang on to it. I think it'd be a big ask though for probably what would be 6-7 laps of green flag racing. So
yeah. So pretty decent Grand Prix here for our season finale. Lots of action. There's a couple big crashes. A few nice overtakes as well. It's been a pretty solid race. It's got a little bit of everything. And we finally got the safety car at the end. I gotta think JX is probably just steamed that he'd just pit and then the safety car came out. But
looks like Infamous, Mario, Bobby all have time penalties as well as GP. Mario's got a few actually. Same with Bobby.
Safety car in this lap.
Coxey. So, looking at the front of the field, Coxey has 3 seconds, and as does GP. So everybody else, Jenna, Axton, and Aero.
Oh, safety car is in. So Aero, late notice there, now has to slow the field up. They decided to restart the race on very short notice, so Aero's backing everybody right up here. Let's just get a nice shot. See if we can try and get a better shot of the field here. Doesn't really put him in a weird spot, but Aero gets a great launch there. He had a nice gap already, and he's off. Here we go. Anybody side by side back here. We got a few cars taking a look at each other. There's a nice little group here. See if any of these guys can make a move. Looks like maybe it was JX.
Somebody's into the wall. Looks like Infamous.
Yeah, it looked like somebody. Oop, we got cars wheel to wheel here. It looks like somebody got into the side of Coxey there going through turn 1.
Axton, who stayed clear of battling with the cars behind him, is right up behind Aero.
Yeah, Aero in a bad spot now. He's going to be in trouble. Let's check in with this gap at the front. Sorry, this pack at the front. There is quite the scrap going on back here with Coxey, though, for all these cars for 7th place. It is one hell of a battle. It's very hard to look away from this. Let's get back to the front. That gap, those gaps are really closing. Aero is in a world of trouble right now. He has 3 cars, all very fast, pressuring him and closing.
Importantly, all of them still within a second. So once DRS is open again, or it's enabled again, there they will be looking to pass Aero. Axton tried to go around the outside, didn't have it.
So much more grip, though. He's just so close. Aero just parking his car in the perfect place that Axton can't find a way through here.
Yeah, allowing GP and Zenith to get up in the battle as well.
So, can Aero defend for another 7 laps? I think it's going to be a bit much.
Yeah, I personally don't think he'll be able to, but
these tires aren't going to last much longer either.
You know, 14 laps, quite a few of them under the safety car. They're not going to be... They won't be so bad that he'll be worried about spinning, but they will certainly not be nearly as quick as the fresh softs.
Soy and Terminal have closed in as well now. So we're going to have 6 cars fighting for the lead here.
Within, yeah, Soy's within 2 seconds of Arrow in front, so.
Axton all over the back of Aerostrike here. Aerostrike doing everything he can to break that toe. He's parked it right on the inside line, and they are wheel to wheel here through the turn. Was there a bit of contact there? I think it was clean. Axton with so much more grip around the outside. He's actually just gone right ahead there. And here comes GP. They've touched. GP squeezing down the inside here. Arrow trying to close the door. He's not quite ahead. Arrow gets it done. So Arrow keeps the door closed on GP. GP, he's going to have to wait his turn. Ginnet now looking for another line to try and find some room here. Soy Loco all over the back of Ginnet here. We have quite the scrap here. The top 5 all within a second.
GP desperately needs to get by Arrow. He's got that 3-second time penalty, so if he wants to finish on the podium, he's going to have to get ahead of Arrow and start building a gap.
So you see Axton already starting to escape a little bit, but Aerostrike is going to pick up the DRS here, so that's going to help him with his scrap with GP. And will actually help him close in on Axton. Axton, I imagine, used up most of his battery trying to get through, and it looks like he may have.
Yeah,
so
he's down
Aerostrike,
about 20%.
Aerostrike is going to be able to give him a little bit of a push down this straight here. I think he'll be able to take a crack at him if he's... that grip with the soft seems to be a little bit much. Let's see if Arrow can hang on. So Soy Loco now right up the back. We got the top 6 all very close, and then Coxie's only 2 seconds adrift, and he's closing.
Yeah, all the battling that they're doing up front is definitely allowing.
Oh, we got a flag. Someone's off. Is that a Renault? A Renault maybe.
Looks like it might have been Mario, but he's recovered.
Yeah. Virtual safety car. Unbelievable. There's no one off. Oh, there is someone off again. Mario's DNF now.
VSC?
Mario's actually gone off and crashed. You see that. He's on the outside of the circuit there. I guess maybe when he went off the road, recovered, he probably ended up losing it in the next corner with the slippery tires. Unfortunate for Mario. He's having a pretty good race tonight. Get back to Soy Loco. Still giving Ginnet the gears. Ginnet's actually lost a bunch of time under the VSC. He's drifted away from the top 3 here. Not sure if it's just the Delta maybe, but...
And with Collins' time penalty, Arrow looks like he still might be able to finish on the podium. Maybe not a race win, but certainly a podium is likely for him.
So, should be getting racing in a second here. Mario's car is cleared. And we are green again. Let's go. Soy Loco. Whoa! Soy Loco getting a peek from Terminal Deity. Closed the door on him. Terminal Deity trying a sneaky move there on the restart. And note that Coxie is now within DRS range. So the train is growing here. And Axton is not going to be able to get Arrow out of his DRS again. So I think Arrow's going to have DRS down this straight.
That helps out Arrow so much. Oh, and it looks like GP is close, but I don't think if Arrow has DRS, I don't think he'll be able to get him.
Here comes GP. A nice run down the straight. Is he going to get it done? He's around the outside, and Arrow goes very deep to defend that on the inside line. They're wheel-to-wheel through turn 3. Arrow keeps the place. GP's going to have to take another crack down this straight. And here comes Ginnet. He is looking for a piece of this action, too. Ginnet almost squeezed out here. He goes onto the grass to try and get around. He had nowhere to go, and he just felt he had the pace to try it. So they're wheel-to-wheel now. Ginnet and Soy has gone through. So Soy Loco taking advantage of Ginnet there, and Ginnet looks like he's really slammed the door in Soy's face there. Said, no thank you. And Coxie with a late dive.
Coxie with a late lunge.
Gets by Terminal, but that was I think that was clean. It was a little bit of a bump, but it wasn't too bad.
There's some contact, but
yeah, it was okay. Oh, and Coxie spins, and he takes Terminal with him. No! Coxie just got too greedy there. He tried to send it on JX as well and caught the back end. And sent
he just ran straight into the gearbox.
Yeah, he sent the back. He ran into the gearbox and unsettled his car, and then spun and collected Terminal. That is so frustrating. That has to be frustrating for both parties there.
And all that mess, GP got by Arrow. Must have missed that.
That was quite the end of the race here. We got a lot of good battles going on. Jinnit here taking another crack at Arrow. Is just one-on-one this time, but Arrow has that DRS, so Jinnit not gonna be able to get it done here. The next DRS runs are the final lap, so Jinnit really is make or break on this lap now if he wants that podium. It's not going to count,
Yeah.
but you know, for pride.
For pride. That safety
For
car
pride.
really changed the back end of this race quite a bit.
Yeah, it shook the field up completely. JXW, interesting to note, is back in 6th place, so even with that big mistake, he's actually recovered all the places he lost, and you know, we're running a bit of strategy. I think he's on the podium today, but nonetheless, 6th place would be a nice finish for him, I think.
Yeah, and I know Soy's got quite a few time penalties, so he might even be able to jump Soy as well.
Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah, Soy does pick up a lot of penalties in most races.
I think he's got about 9 seconds. I was looking through during the safety car.
So Soy not able to close to Jinnit. Let's go back to Bobby and Terminal. Bobby not close enough either. Back to the front here. So it's Jinnit, Arrow, and Soy Loco fighting for the podium here. GP and
Jinnit's
Axton
going up
comfortably
the
ahead.
inside.
Jinnit sends a late move here.
Oh, just holds on to it, but he loses out to Soy Loco.
Yeah, he had to, I think Jinnit needed to lift there to get his grip back or something. I'm not sure if he felt squeezed and maybe just frustrated, or maybe he picked up damage.
Their wheels touched, and so he just back end was sliding a little bit. So yeah, he had to lift a little bit to regain the traction. But
So Jinnit now has lost a place in the final lap. He's not going to get another crack at Arrow, and he's probably not going to get a crack at Soy either. So his best bet here is just to get a good exit on this left-hander and hope that he can close with the DRS run. Nah, it's not enough. Jinnit, unfortunate there, lost out, trying to get a move done. So your winner is Axton. He wins the season finale. Axton, the Brazilian Grand Prix winner. GP comes home in 2nd. Aerostrike in 2nd, actually. Jinnit goes 3rd. GP drops to 4th with that time penalty. Scabney into 5th. JXW sits in 6th. Soy Loco in 7th. Terminal Deity is 8th. Bobby Tava, he's heading towards the line right now. Brings it home in 9th in that McLaren. And Infamous Pillars will finish in 10th in the Alfa Romeo. The rest of the field, the cars
like
finishing.
Coxey's going slow.
Coxey, Dove, and Stig are the rest of the runners here, and they will round out the field. Coxey doing some donuts, it looks like. Alright, he's run out of fuel, maybe.
Really, he just wants the season to last that much longer.
Yeah, he's run out of fuel, I think, maybe. Yeah, he wants to do donuts, but he doesn't have enough juice to do it. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Bring it home, Coxey. Hey, we got a little donut. All right, we do have donuts.
Doesn't quite have the space for it there, but
no, he would have been better off doing it further back there. He should have done it back in the opening. Yeah, right here would be okay. There you go, Coxey. Send her around. Hey, get it going. Nice. That's some good donuts. I'm content. There we go. Season finale, guys. This is Zenith Online Racing. This is your Tier 2 group. That was the final race of the season in our F1 2019 game. Coxey giving us a little show here. And a few donuts for us before the end of the season. And Sunday night, the EU tier does the final Grand Prix of the season, and that will be it for Zenith Online Racing in F1 2019. As far as official races go. We will have a bit of an off-season here. The new game will not be out until July, and we will probably be giving a little bit of a buffer just to make sure the game is functioning properly before we start official league races. So we're looking at probably late July, early August for Season 4 of Zenith Online Racing. Again, Coxey finishing backwards across the line. Excellent
in
show.
Reverse.
Yeah, nice little finish there. He finishes 11th still, and I think he's going to end up getting some points anyway. So all that, and he still gets points. Lucky bastard. Um, we'll review the
Very
order quickly.
interesting race, especially at the end.
It was a very interesting race. Axton will be absolutely ecstatic to be back in the podium interviews, not only in the podium, but on the top step. Wins the Grand Prix. There's Arrow, Axton and Arrow, good buddies. Actually, I think they kind of hate each other. I really don't know. No, I'm sure there's a lot of mutual respect in this league, so good to see those guys up on the podium once more. And who else snuck up in there? It was Zenith, I guess, right? So GP is actually our official third guy on the podium. So we'll bring him in for an interview. It's going to be the usual suspects tonight. Axton wins the Grand Prix. Arrow comes home in second. Zenith's in third. GP fourth. Scabney is fifth. JXW sixth. Soy Loco seventh. Terminal Deity is eighth. Bobby Tava brings it home in ninth. Infamous Pillars in 10th. Coxie 11th. Dub 49ers 12th. Black Stig 32 in 13th. The rest of these guys didn't finish. So Mario DNF, Wolfsburg, Eric, Romney, Ryan, and Bark School, all with DNFs there. That is the final classification for Tier 2 of Season 3. We are looking forward to moving on to the new game, I think. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure. Yeah, a couple new tracks, new handling model, a lot of new interesting things that are exciting. I will say, I think we've got really good use out of this. We had 2 full seasons in this game, and they've been awesome. Like
both excellent seasons.
Yeah, the growth we've had in the last 2 seasons have been great. So I'm just going to get the party invites out to those guys to get them in here, and they're not going to be able to hear you when I do that, so you can call them all bastards if you want right now. No one can hear you. Arrow Strike, Axton, and GP Colin. That's a familiar bunch. All fitting, though. I mean, the amount of times I interviewed these guys this season, I'm pretty happy it's these 3 again.
Oh, yeah. I'll be interested to see what Arrow says about the safety car and his decision to not come in and pit there. Cause that,
he still got the podium.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out, but certainly that was the one of, I think, JX and his 2-stop and the choice to not pit there under safety car were 2 of the most interesting strategy calls, I think, in this race.
Yeah, for sure. JXW, I think, shot himself in the foot. I think he was on for a podium here.
One stop here, soft to medium, you can just about make work. You got to be kind to your tires. Soft, hard, pretty manageable to do, but
exactly. He could have just done the safe bet and gone with the hards just to make sure he got home, but didn't do it. All right, well, he's the race winner. He's on the top step of the podium. It's the season finale, the final Grand Prix. Axton, you won the race. How you feeling, buddy?
I feel great. Seeing that name, Arrow Strike, and GP Con behind me, lower than me, is the best feeling I could ever ask for. And it's my rightful spot.
Good thing you got it done right before the end of the season, eh?
Yeah, right? Hey, it's a great stepping stone into the next season.
Yeah.
And the new game. Yep. So, I can say I won the last Tier 2
2019 race.
Thursday 2019 F1 race. And that's something I can hold on to. Put it on my shelf.
That was a good race.
Yeah.
Really interesting strategy decision with JXW there. I think he was on for a podium, and he ended up trying the 2-stop. It almost worked. He had good pace, but he just kind of ran into traffic at the wrong times, and then it ended up I think he ended up colliding with you. Was it you he collided with, Arrow, and spun himself into the wall, or he was trying to get through there, and he ended up off the barrier.
I didn't feel a touch. I thought that he touched the inside curb.
I think it was
and then he was gone.
He was there trying to get by you, like trying to get a sneaky move done, and ended up putting himself in the wall. So it wasn't necessarily like a bump, but more so like you guys were wheel to wheel, and he ended up on the curbing and into the barrier. So that was frustrating, but I think he ended up collecting 5th or 6th anyways, despite all that, because of the safety car. So at least he got something back, because he ran a really great race. It's unfortunate that he ended up the way it did.
Yeah, if he just could have pushed those softs a little longer and went out on the mediums, he would have been right there at the end with us. I couldn't believe
had the pace.
when I saw. Yeah, I thought he went to hards.
Yeah.
And I was like, he'll be okay. And then I saw he was on softs. I was like, we don't want that strategy. But unfortunately, it really took him out when he got onto the curb or whatever happened. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So.
It was just.
But he was fast.
Oh yeah, he was there. I think he had the pace. At least to be on the podium, at the very least, because I think you, Axton, probably were the quickest in the field today, at least. So it's fitting that you are the winner.
Hey,
it doesn't always
appreciate
happen.
it.
Yeah,
This is true.
I mean, usually it's Arrow. Usually every week it's clearly Arrow. So, Arrow obviously very quick tonight as well, but just the qualifying didn't go so well, and you started a little further back. And I think after the first round of pit stops, you were already 8 seconds off the main group that you're normally racing with, and I was kind of like, it sucks. He's lost so much time already. Like,
I don't know. I couldn't every corner I was understeering.
Yeah.
The whole time, and when the safety car came out, I felt like my only chance was to stay out, which I think it could have happened until GP deciding to go too wide into turn 1, and then I just didn't have DRS.
It's all ruined because somebody else. Typical Arrow.
Because somebody legally passed you.
Yeah, right. If he wouldn't have passed me, I'd have won.
Right.
Would you guys there, GP again?
Every week in the chat. That's Arrow.
Yeah.
If this didn't happen, I would have blank. Yeah. We get a slip for Arrow. You can fill that out after every race.
Yeah. Just fill in the blanks. Like Mad Libs. Arrow Strikes post-race Mad Libs. It was GP's fault.
Yes.
Yep.
And what did he do? He went side by side in a bad turn.
Yes.
He tried to overtake.
So GP, how you feeling? You managed to sneak out that podium. You had that little time penalty. It was probably really
sucks.
stressful carrying that after the safety car came out.
Once I finally got past Arrow, I only had, I think, maybe 2.5 laps to try to pull away, and I knew that he was struggling, but it didn't happen. I tried. He's just too fast in a straight line.
Yeah.
And even though there are a lot of turns here, there's that long straight out of the last corner. But I feel really good to be up there battling with Axton, Arrow, then Jennett was up there. Even Jegs W was, having a race when right from the start.
Yeah, I would say that was probably his best race that I've seen. It's just I don't when I saw that he put the softs on, I was like, man, you were there, you were almost there. But
he had a hell of a start too.
Oh yeah, the start was impressive.
Not that I have good starts anyways, and then add in a little bit of cooler tires from Coxie, and but I don't want to take away from his start. I mean, going 3 wide into turn 1 was awesome. So.
It was awesome, and then he just managed to have the grip and squeaked out ahead, and I was like, holy shit, he's out front. He did it.
Yep. And off he went. He put a gap on and started to pull away. So
yeah, no.
In that first turn, I was 4th man in, basically, and that was a lot of fun. Everybody was side by side, but fair.
Yeah.
And so that was just great racing, seeing that, and I think it was Axton that kind of got shuffled out a little bit to the outside, and instead of forcing something, he kind of just let things happen, and I got by a little bit on the inside of him. But yeah, I love that kind of stuff when the battles are being had and it's fair, wheel to wheel. That's nothing better.
Yeah, that was
Arrow,
great race.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Arrow, what wings were you running?
6.4.
Get out! There's no way that you were running 6.4 and I couldn't catch you
6.4.
it. I don't believe it.
I'm telling you, 6.4.
What was your tire pressure?
I think it was max.
Okay. Maybe that was
becoming an interrogation.
I had very low ride height.
That would probably contributed to it as well.
Yeah.
Ride height affects more. I think.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have got it done on DRS. I could not get close enough to get around you on under DRS, right? I had to do it going into the corner. So
Yeah, same here.
It was quite the. Unfortunately, you didn't have much grip in the turns, but I'll tell you what, you're fast in a straight line.
Yeah.
All right, Zyg, any questions?
No, not that I can think of. Just mostly for Arrow, why not pitting under the safety car? But other than that, that's about it.
It was my only chance to like get the win, because if I went under the safety car, I would have probably would have been like 4th. Because initially I thought that Ginnett was actually going to stay out. He pit.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know when.
Yeah, I think he pit lap 21 or something like that.
So he could have went to the end.
Yeah.
And I felt like my straight line speed would have been beneficial to me, because also like I underfueled my car, so I actually had fuel at the end.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I felt like I could actually fight.
If
On the
you guys
corners,
can't,
apparently.
if you can't tell, Arrow's playing 2K20. That's why he's going. Shit.
No.
What was I saying? Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Like, this
Phoning
interview
it in.
bores me.
Phoning it in
right?
for the season
Yeah.
finale interview. Like,
What a
unbelievable.
douche.
What a dick.
What a douche.
See, Axon's been
Apparently-
trying to tell us
on
all
screen.
year.
I'm trying to articulate my thoughts.
Yeah, well, you take a
Well,
note.
You can articulate it down the
He's
fucking court.
probably been playing 2K for the last 5 races after he locked the title up. Like,
Yes.
Yeah,
I
pretty
agree.
much.
yeah.
He's over here cruising. He's like,
Just
I didn't
like-
practice today.
Hit pause and just leave the car driving. Like, whatever. I'll pick it up later.
Yeah, he's more concerned about his 3-point shot than his
Yeah.
tire strategy. So
Hey, it cost him tonight.
yes, it did.
All right.
Cost him that plaque to put on the wall.
Yeah.
So.
The drivers' championship and the constructors. I don't know. What
Nobody
you're talking
remembers you. They just remember the last race winner. Don't forget it.
All right, guys. I'm gonna wrap things up unless anybody's got anything else to add.
About. Hey, where are we at
thanks.
next week?
No. I want to thank you, Big Up, for being there every. I want to thank you, Big Up, for being there every Thursday night for us.
No problem. I actually was wondering that. Did I actually make it every broadcast?
I believe
I think
you.
I
you
made
made
almost
this one.
I made 21 broadcasts in this season. That's pretty fucking impressive. I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I must have missed
Yeah.
at least one.
If you
I
missed
think you
one,
missed
that was
one.
it.
I think you did.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
It's still
Yeah,
pretty
I'd say.
good. So yeah, thank you for that, Big Up.
No problem. Thanks for
So
being a
and everyone
good
else.
league to commentate. Like, I mean, it's pretty easy. There's always something happening. I never really get bored, and I don't have to make things up. It's just there's always action to call, so makes it easier.
Well, I know it's boring when I'm not in here for the podium because listen to Arrow talk. I'm ready to take a nap. So.
Wah, wah.
People have something to say when they, even when they don't have something to say. Actually.
You people?
Yeah. What, excuse me.
Who are you calling you people?
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
FEW.
Oh, few people. Okay.
You, oh yeah. Nice.
Well,
nice
never mind.
save.
Everybody put your pitchforks
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. This has been the season finale of Tier 2, the Brazilian Grand Prix. Your winner, Axton, GP in third, and your championship winner for the season, Aerostrike, brings it home in second. Boo. All right,
Can't
guys.
see, but my hands are in the air.
Yeah.
We'll catch you next season. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a good off season. Cheers.
Thanks again, guys. See you.